Okay, so you can see with this bed what we're talking about. These rocks are up so much on things that there's all kinds of soil that I can't even get to. So basically what we're talking about here is we have a high bed that if we just move it back, we'll have a lot more space to be able to grow things. We've got soil in there that we can't even activate and we can't really get to easily because of things like these rocks. So what I'm going to do now is pull back these rocks. There's some carrots and things still in here as well. So you can see this is one of the garlic, might have been from 2 years ago. But it's also, I put my hand in here and it's also right on top of a big rock, right? So this isn't doing any good in here. It's not helping anything. So what we're going to do is take these rocks back, form a better wall so that we can get to the soil and bring this soil forward so that we have a bigger bed, and then augment the soil so that it's in better shape, because having a garden bed is wonderful, but if it can't grow, or there's only sweet spots that it can grow because when you're up close there's rocks buried, hidden underneath everything, it's not doing you as much good as you would like. Not too much weeds really. I mean, like I said, there's some carrots still in here. As I start to work it, I'll show you one or two, but yeah, we're just going to pull back these rocks a little bit so that I can work this area better. Start at the top and work our way down a little bit. It doesn't have to be too stable to start. I really just want to get the rocks cleared away from here, so I'm just going to move everything back just a little bit just to see what the lay of the land is. It's also an easy way to be able to get to things like weeds here, or theoretically to be able to get to weeds. I can't pull it, at least I broke it off. Okay, so we'll keep on just pulling this away. I don't know if I should do the whole bed. I think I'll just do the whole bed. Yep, there's no sense in starting it and then being like, oh, what? I should just work the whole bed, because I think it would benefit everything to pull it forward. We can probably get at least a third more garden space in here if I can just pull these rocks. This rock, for example, will be a problem because it is so big, but the rest of them aren't too bad. They're all movable by me and without too much specialization for equipment. I do and I have used a a pry bar or a rock bar or whatever you want to call it, one of those big steel rods that you put in the ground. But look here, like that's so far in, you don't even realize how far in it is. And as you get in, sometimes it's worse than you think. It's got big spots where. Let's just pull this one back and see. That one's not too bad, but you can see, well, I can see one right there. Let's see this one. This would be a good example. Oh, I can't even get to it. Yeah, it's basically in up to here, right? So when you're growing, you think you have this extra space, and then there's a big rock underneath that you can't do anything with. So this is a before shot. We'll see what it looks like afterwards. I'm going to work at it for a little bit. Let's see this one. This is the one I'm curious about, because it's these ones where you think you have space and then you're like, nothing grows there. It's like, why isn't nothing in these spots growing anything? It's like shoddy workmanship. Oh, I have to get the pry bar. Let's see what this bad boy is. Let's see how big it is. Any guesses? Not too bad. I was expecting worse. Still pretty bad. You can see this is a big crater where there's nothing going to be growing through here, right? Nothing at all going to be growing through here. Coffee, you say? So come on, I can show you this and talk about it a little bit. It's okay, we don't have to do it just to show it. Talk about it a little bit. So, what we're looking at here, this is your first time seeing it too, so we can talk about this all together. I've obviously pulled some of these rocks back. There's still big ones like this. This is the problem that we're facing, these big rocks that are underneath. You can see how much soil we actually had here. Because as I've been pulling this away, it's like very narrow and you think we have a lot. So I'm going to continue pulling these ones out. I'm going to leave those kale where they are because they're growing and that's edible now. You can make that, add that into a salad if we keep on giving it fuel. Look, that's perfectly good kale. I think it is anyway. It might be broccoli, but anyway. And I'm going to pull this soil back, much like the other bed, just to create more space. And whatever happens, happens. But this soil is so deep.
I think it is broccoli, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I think it's kale. I've tasted it.
Sure, we'll find out by taking a picture.
Anyway, as you can hear A-Star and I talking, we are looking at augmenting this bed a little further, much like I've augmented other beds. So we're going to be getting to this today and improving this bed and trying to make it a little bit better so that we can have it into a more workable space. We've had some success in this bed in the last couple of years, but as I've been pulling rocks back from our beds, you notice where you put more dirt on top of rocks where it shouldn't be. And I just want to put it in better shape and be able to work the soil versus hitting rocks. And growing things on top of rocks is a recipe for lack of success, we'll say. So I'm just going to get rid of these rocks so we can work the soil, make the soil better. And then you talk about gardening. Gardening is about growing soil. So I'm going to grow the soil better this year in this area. And that's something we're focusing on this year, is just existing beds and making them better. So stick around. We are Eager Gridless Beaver. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for coming and watching the show. It's more just about snippets of our activity versus one big project. But that's what life is. It's about pushing jobs forward versus getting jobs all done. Completion is a where you get after you do a bunch of other small things. So that's what we're trying to do. Just do the small things and have an overall more successful product. So stick around. Here we go. This is the main offender. There's a big, I don't know if you can see from all the way back there, but a big ass rock right there. Artie, what do you think you are? A carrot? What the heck? Ba-da-doo-doo. Not too bad. You can probably hear this, but it's a big rock right there. I'm not going to be digging it in. Let's just check. Sometimes you get surprised. Well, I guess I will. So I'm just going with this big pry bar, or I don't know what it's called. This thing here. Show you a little better. I'm not sure what the close range is for here. What I'm doing with this pry bar now is just trying to find any big rocks that might be underneath the surface here. Something I can't necessarily see. I haven't found anything too big, so that's good. And after I finish this part, I'm just going to till everything here up. And the other stage is the far end I have to get to and pull those rocks back. I think that's another important area. We're going to pull these rocks back from this area now too. You can see it's really tight in here. When we did these beds originally, I was generally working with the front bucket of the tractor. So I would dump the dirt in, sometimes with rock and all, and try to augment it a little bit. And then we take all these extra rocks that you see in the front were basically from where we were digging up trees, and anytime you modify dirt, or the ground I should say, around here, you're finding a bumper crop of rocks, and we needed something to do with all these rocks. So what we opted for is to line our beds with it, just to sort of help containerize things. This bed is like 2.5 feet deep. I still want to keep it fairly level with throughout, but it's too high. I just want it to be lower so that A, to get these rocks out of here, and B, to be able to bring some of the soil down and create more usable space without having to create new beds, just moving things out. If you create a third more space in all of your beds, theoretically you have a third more of a garden. I'm not doing that, but we are adding some space by doing these things. So that's what the end goal sort of is. So with that in mind, we're gonna see what this is like pulling these rocks back. You are really in for a roller coaster ride of rocks. If you're looking for another rock slide situation, I think we might be into one. Not really, but anyway, there's gonna be a lot of rock noises, so if you like rock noises, this is a place for you. You're gonna hear some smashing and gnashing and things, so I'm probably gonna cut all this out, but just thought I would mention it to myself. It's good to talk. I have to get better at just talking as I'm doing things because it's relevant. All right, here we go. I don't want to move everything back too far. Like, this is a hard rock to move because it's so big, so I'm just going to tilt it back here while I can work it, and then just sort of lay it down. If I can get it a little more flat, I'll be getting 2 more feet of space. Okay, yeah, save this little earthworm. Anyone else need saving? Nope. Let's drop this. And this sort of slope is partially what I'm talking about too, because you can see this is on a little bit of slope. But what's going to happen is when we pull soil in here eventually, it's going to come in here and then it's going to be like this, and it's going to be covering this again. So I might try to spin it around, but either way I'm going to move the rest of the rocks away further. I'll probably end up replacing all the rocks into a new wall or a similar configuration, but for now I'm just going to move them away. So many rocks. Our soil and things around here are not in great shape. We're working on it. It's not something that can happen overnight when you have thick clay that you're dealing with. So we handle this as quickly as we can. We've used a lot of horse manure in the past. People have invariably moved on from their horses, as people tend to do after their kids get old enough. So we don't have access to that anymore. But we've been buying and we've been taking everyone's leaves from the area when we see them and trying to mix that stuff in and create a pile so that we always have something that we can add to our garden beds to make them a little better, because they are not good. The soil is not good. You're getting a little glimpse of it here. You put your finger in the soil to see what that sort of texture or whatever is like. It's like this. Oh, I can push in, but it is not loose. And you can see things like this. Where does stuff like moss and things come from? It comes from lack of lime, and it's something I haven't really been paying too much attention to, or I haven't had time because I'm always working on projects, and instead of trying to maintain things, I'm trying to do new things. So anyway, we're doing things like adding a bunch of lime, adding more fertilizer in, adding more peat moss in, which we are out of actually, because we're doing a bunch of garden planter augmentation, soil augmentation, which is similar to this. But we take the soil out of the planters and just re-augment it with things like peat moss, lime, compost, and some fertilizer, just so we get a good base. We don't use this soil obviously for planters because they wouldn't grow. We use a combination of like old potting soil that we've just been replenishing every year, and it's nice and loamy, and that's where we want this soil to be. It won't be as loamy. It take a long time, but we've basically done zero to this bed in, 5 or 6 years. So we plant stuff in it. We've had potatoes in it. We've had garlic in it. We've had some success in it. But some success for those ones, those types of vegetables, doesn't really mean as much when they're so easy to grow. We've had a lot of challenges growing other things. Like, we had carrots in this bed actually, and they did pretty good. Let's see if we can find one. I know there's some. I just pulled it out a couple weeks ago, but everything was still frozen. I'm sure it quickly rotted away. We might find one once I start going here. But anyway, that's it for the rocks. They're pulled back enough for what I need to start. Sweet. See, you can see, this is why we're doing this augmentation. It is not good soil. There's some parts that aren't as bad, but you can see there's big rocks in there and all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's start hoeing this up a little bit. I think I have enough room to work with. One thing I do want to do is just, if stuff does slide down here, which I'm going to need a space where I stop, so I might as well just fix this up so it's in better shape right now, so that it could contain dirt without recreating the same issue. Slug! Killed the slug. Ha! I do hate slugs. So we'll start down here, pull all this stuff up so that we can see what the soil is like. Let's see if we can find some of these carrots. This is sort of loosely. Let me see if I can. Pretty good. Fill various holes if I can right now, because there. That's close enough, I guess. I don't want this big ass rock. It's too fucking big. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's helpful, isn't it? Rocks like this are helpful for growing. Unfortunately, we used up all of our peat moss yesterday, so I can't really add much in, but what I'll do is make it flat and then we'll augment it again once I get some things to be able to augment it with, but getting it sort of level is first step. Some of this isn't too bad, actually, surprisingly enough. Oh, look. A wee carrot with a hole in it. What was Bounty? See that? Little hole. Cute. You can see how short that carrot is, which if you've ever grown carrots, oh look, I got another one here. Oh, I chopped it in half though. But if you know carrots, there's worms inside of it. Hilarious. It typically means that you have soil that is, the carrots can get started, but as I try to keep growing, they can't because the soil is too compacted. So this stuff will make a difference. I was surprised we had success at all with carrots last year, but I think that, put that back in the soil for the worms to finish off. But yeah, I think that if I do this, which is just make the soil better, we'll have some success. I don't care about the straw. This is where there was some carrots, so we might see some more, or not. There's a little part of one. Some garlics. I'll try to replant these shortly. They can survive. I'm not doing it now because I'll get away from this and then I'll be distracted somewhere else. So you can see a big clay deposit right there, how much lighter brown it is. And the ground is really tough, so all this mixing around will help out a lot too. All right, it's looking pretty good actually. It's sometimes just the act of breaking up the soil can help. Doesn't seem too bad a shape really. It needs some more loft and organic matter. There's a piece of garlic I'll replant real quick here. Just down and out of the way. I think I'll put these garlic in. It's the same way I did with these other ones. There's not so much here that I can't just do this as I go. Somewhere a little bit out of the way. Just to try to give them a chance. What's the worst that can happen? Okay. Now, oh, there's now a little carrot. Now, obviously, when you have a bed that's this far out, there's a lot of worm action too. Hopefully I'm not doing too damage to them, but when you have a bed that's this wide, it's really hard to work certain areas. So we might need a strategy to be able to do something, but if you don't have good soil, nothing grows. There's no problem. You could step all over it. So the first part is solving a problem. This one's hollowed out. Something's been eating it from the, well, this is where it froze and died first. Carrot's still in good shape, so we'll add it back in here for these little wormy worms. Sorry guys, these guys are like, oh, what's going on here? I bet you the robins, the hungry robins in the area want to get in here pretty quick. There'll be like lots of worms near the surface for them to be able to harvest. Looks like there's a big rock right there, unfortunately. Or maybe it's a series of small ones. Whoa! Gosh, I got dirt inside of them here. Disgusting. Disgusting. Okay. Get this rock out of here. Come on, baby. Come on. Oh. Okay, so we're about halfway roughly done here. I mean, this is just the initial pass, so I don't want to make it seem like this is going to be everything that we do here. But this is oftentimes part of the problem with any job. It's like you get so far along and then you shift to something else, and then that's fairly bitter. moly, that's a biggie. Ooh, okay, I guess I can take the sweater off. Ooh. Okay. I'm almost done here. I want to finish this pass and be done with it for this today. This will be my second pass this, but I'm close. Throw that in there. Okay, so now I'm just trying to, it's tilled fairly good, yeah, good, great. Needs a lot of work, but I can actually get to the parts that need the work. So I think I'm fairly close. I'm a little hesitant at this stage to put the rocks back because I'm not sure how low I want this to go. You know what I mean? Just because if I keep making it so shallow, then I'm guaranteed to get into bad soils. So I'm just thinking if I spend, I don't know, it's really low down that side. It's pretty high up this side. I mean, I do have quite a bit of soil. I think I'm just gonna do this. Make it as low as the front. If I make it as low as the front right now, then it should be pretty easy to do. It's just a matter of pulling the soil so that it all floats in. Plant these garlic again. They might not make it, they probably won't, but for how much it costs, which is nothing, I might as well just replant them. And if nothing else, maybe I'll get a bulb next year that I can then replant. A little bit of space. Yeah, like I said, this bed is going to be really hard to work a lot because of the size now, hard to get in, but there's so much rocks. Like, I wouldn't be able to get down here where it's really bad if I didn't do this work, so it's not so bad. Okay. So I'm just trying to push down to the low side here. I still have a lot of high soil here, which is going to fill in the back end here, but I'm just trying to move the soil in that direction where it is lowest. I have a sort of baseline for how high we're going to be. Looks like right about here, roughly. You hear him? That's a hawk going over. There was a couple hawks and 2 crows chasing an eagle yesterday, I saw, when I was outside. Alright, I'm going to say that's about it. This looks pretty good. I got to move these rocks back, but I need some breakfast. So, thanks for sticking around. Give you guys a little shot. And the final shot I'll show you will be the rocks moved into place here. So until I do another project and we meet again, thanks for stopping in and checking out the channel and working with me as I chip away at projects. I hope this format sort of works. I like the long camera being away and not having to be so close into me, so because I hate looking at myself, so it's nice to be able to see shots of the yard instead of me being the focus. So take care until next time. Okay, so the rocks are all long or loosely arranged around the garden bed, and things are looking pretty good. We're going to augment this now with some lime pellets. You could also do powdered lime, which I might do when we actually plant things. And we're also going to add in some peat moss to add with some of this loam. It's in pretty good shape, but we want it to be even better. And some fertilizer. So the combination of things, we know, and I know for a fact, that the soil around here is really, really acidic. It takes a long time to get things limed up enough so the pH level is pretty good. And I'm just going to get things head start by giving it lime now, because I know all this soil needs it. We've been working at things and they've been getting better, but just some more is, at this point, is not going to hurt. I know the pH could use more, so adding more at this point is not a bad idea. And it's pellets, so it's slow release. In no particular order, here's some lime we're gonna add. I've sort of measured this out in the past, so I know how much is roughly what. I'm not too concerned because I do know that this soil needs some work. So I'm not too concerned. It's gonna be mixed around some. So that's our lime taken care of. Loosely, like I said. Some fertilizer. Looks pretty good. And then the last of this peat moss. Not nearly enough. Got another bag right here. And peat moss. Peat moss also will, raise the acidity level, so I know that when I'm adding peat moss, I just want to automatically add in some lime. That's what we're doing. Okay, now mix this around a little bit into our soil. And you can see from back there, I've got to reach pretty far to be able to do this. It's not going to be the easiest garden bed to work, but yeah, starting to look pretty good. And in the interest of other projects, I'm going to call this done for phase 1. I know it's going to be going through more augmentation on future years. I could spend forever trying to make this better right now, but I just want to be making some small steps in the right direction, and I think I've done that here. So let's just keep on a little bit loose. Okay, that's good. Screw it. We're getting our first little, you definitely can't see from back there. Whew. You can't see from back there, but I've had some black flies around me, which is the end of one of my favorite parts of the season, which is when you can work outside without having to have a net on. But such is life. You gotta make do with what you get. And I wouldn't have to deal with them if I decided to stay inside all the time, like I used to. But I like being outside, so you gotta work with it. Embrace the suck, I guess, in some ways. Anyway, that's it. Big rock right there. Look at that, I did all this work and then I pull out a rock like that. Missed it for that long and then I find it. Garden miracles. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Catch you cool cats later on a future episode. Perhaps I'll stay motivated and want to keep on doing videos. Not that anyone will notice, besides the few. That's okay. I think I just want to keep doing it for me. Which is probably how I should have done it from the onset. Although I probably wouldn't have tried to improve if I hadn't been searching for YouTube viewers. But I've learned a lot about video editing, stuff to avoid and stuff I like and don't like. So I'm going to try to embrace those things. Take care till next time. Hoe drop.